Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is the ASX and Sectors weekly chart analysis for the week ending 18th of October 2024. First chart is the parent index. This is the S&P ASX 200 index, the XJO. Put some lines in. You can see where we are. You can see that this week the market's attempted to break out further. Supply's been drawn out. That's the close off the week's high. And prices pulled back and closed pretty much at this breakout line here. Volume wasn't particularly high, about average overall, so it's genuine volume. You can see that the last thrust higher perhaps wasn't as strong as the previous one back here. So there may be a little shortening of the thrust here. I would expect in response a test for supply, almost certainly, especially early next week, just to see how much supply is actually being drawn out of the market. Just come back a little, threaten any sellers and see if they emerge. And if so, just how much supply does emerge from the market. So you'll likely see the market just pull back slightly next week and test for supply. This is the mid-cap sector and similar to the parent index. We put the lines in. This market does actually seem to be absorbing its way higher here. You can see the push higher previously here, and the market really isn't. You probably put that line in like that if you wanted, similar to the parent index, but I think it looks more like it's absorbing its way higher here. Volume wasn't particularly high this week, considering a little below the average. There was a poor close similar to the parent index, so you'll probably see this market test for supply in response as well, something like this, just to see how much supply is in the market, especially early next week. And if overseas market's a little soft tonight, that'll offer the opportunity to test for supply early next week. This is the small ordinaries sector, which was lagging behind for quite a while previously. You can see the market made a little double bottom here. It's not a particularly significant one, but it did come back down, saw some buying support come in, retested that level, and then accelerated higher. Price pushed out, tested for supply, and pushed higher again. And this week the market, similar to the two larger indexes, have closed poorly, seen some supply drawn out, will probably come back and test this breakout line for strength. And in doing so, if everything's still positive, it'll be a test for supply like those previous two markets. This is the financial sector. This is a slightly different chart than the others. You can see the market made a base in here, came out, moved into absorption mode here before a minor breakout, a pullback and shakeout, then an acceleration higher. You had a little period of absorption there before the market pushed out again. And then the market's done this 4-bar reversal here. It's not really an accumulation like that you would see in some of the larger markets. Generally, on this part of the reversal, you would see high volume with narrow spreads down here, suggesting that strong buying had come in. But really, selling pressure just eased there, and that allowed the market to float higher on a lack of supply. Now you've got the market sitting right here with a 4-bar reversal in the background, just waiting to accelerate higher. It's primed to do so, and it probably will, just depending on when the market conditions are favourable. So similar to the other markets, you'll see a test for supply probably early next week. It may only be Monday, perhaps Tuesday. And if supply is found to be low, that is selling pressure is found to be low, and trading conditions are relatively favourable, I expect an attempt to break out. This is the metals and mining subsector. You can see back here that the market was really reluctant to move lower down here. It really could have accelerated lower, but it didn't do so. Instead, some accumulation came in. It was a thrust lower, sort of like a shakeout of some description here, a moderate test for supply before the market popped up. And then, if that's considered the breakout line there, the market really accelerated higher, and since then has really been in consolidation mode. And this week was an inside bar with a relatively narrow spread. Yes, there was a poor close. That likely reflects the overall market and perhaps not this sector so much itself. Volume was only modest, so what selling pressure was there wasn't particularly strong, and the market did still close well above the previous bar's low, which is there. So although it doesn't look particularly strong, this is still part of an overall consolidation, at least at this point in time. And when trading conditions are more favourable, I expect the market will attempt at least to push higher in response. But at this point, there's no breakdown. It's just a consolidation in response to this strong up bar here. This is the ASX gold sector. Gold has been quite strong more recently. You can see that there was really a big consolidation at this point back here, and we called it and said that the market was primed to move higher. It eventually did and pushed up to this level. There was some further consolidation before the market accelerated higher again. There was a test of the breakout before the market accelerated higher again. You can see the thrust has narrowed slightly here, but this week the market's really accelerated higher again. And once this momentum begins to ease, you'll likely see a period of consolidation in response like this. Or if the market is really strong, you'll see some consolidation more like that. And that's what the market does when it really is too strong to actually pull back and form what would generally be called a bull flag, like this. And instead, it consolidates like this because it's not weak enough to actually pull back properly. This market looks strong anyway. You can't argue with that. This is the energy sector, and the market did get back to this level here. Here's the breakdown line above, up here. We just bring that across to here like this. You can see the market only came up to this level here. That's within this period here of consolidation before price broke down here. We saw some buying support emerge. Prices pushed up to this level, and now it's attempting to consolidate. But what's happened is further supply has been drawn out. You can see volumes increased this week. Prices moved below the previous bar's low, and now it's coming down and it's testing this stronger up bar's lows for strength. It's not quite down to it yet, so we'll just see what happens at this level. But some weakness has emerged, some further supply has emerged in the market, and that's caused price to come back more deeply than you might have hoped for following this period of consolidation and an acceleration higher and up to this breakdown line. This is the healthcare sector. The healthcare sector formed a nice base through here, including a nice 2-bar reversal in there. Price did pull out, consolidate, pushed out again, consolidated through here. It's pulled back, pretty much tested this line for strength, and then the market has come back again more recently, and it's back up. You mark the highs there. It's just below the highs of the range, below this 46,000 level. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see some consolidation in here for a bar or two on a daily basis. And then when trading conditions are more favourable, I expect we'll see an attempt to break out. Not sure whether it's going to be successful or not at this point in time, but I would expect an attempt to break out for sure. This is the ASX industrial sector, and they've made a bit of time of it lately too. In here, we noted the market was trying to form a base. There was a reluctance to move lower through here, and we noted it at the time. And then there was some attempt to push out, but the market really struggled for a few bars before it finally got its act together, accelerated higher, and now we're up here at new highs. And the market this week attempted to go on with it. It did draw out some supply to close off the week's high, but volume was actually below average. So it wasn't overwhelming. It was just part of the overall market weakness that came in, and perhaps not so much this sector itself, because it was below average volume. So what supply was drawn out probably wasn't overwhelming, but it's just sunk back. It's come back in sympathy, you might say. Now, I would expect this market too will test for supply. Whenever markets close well off their highs like this, you'll often see the response as a test for supply like this. It may only be for a day or so. In a really strong market, it may only be for the first half day in response, and it may not be quite as deep as that. But you'll often see the market come back in response to a bar that closes well off its high like this. And then if there is strength found, or if selling pressure is found to be low and the market is moving more positively, you'll see an attempt to push higher in response. Just back to the parent index quickly. I'll put those lines in again. You can see the market is still above this breakout line here. It did close off its high this week, so there was some supply drawn out. Volume was about average, so it was genuine. It was true trading. There was nothing hidden in there, or it's unlikely there was. So almost certainly, given the opportunity, I expect this market will test for supply at least early next week, and then it will respond depending on how much supply is drawn out. Supply is pretty strong. You may find price comes back and will attempt to consolidate sort of in this level here, like this. And if supply is found to be relatively low, then I expect, if trading conditions are favourable at all next week, a further attempt to continue higher, which would then make this bar here just an absorption bar, which we'll see in the next few days. Probably Monday, Tuesday will tell the story next week. Okay, thanks for your time. See ya.